7 o'clock on a Tuesday. You know what that means. Time for Nole'n Stample. Won a national title at Florida State along the defensive line. Also played for the Cleveland Browns and is a business owner right here in Jacksonville. He's our Florida State analyst. Good to have you back, Niall.
Yeah, it's good to be back. I wish it was under better circumstances.
Yeah, we're going to have to break that down. But I started the show off today just really disappointed for college football fans, especially younger college football fans. They don't know what it's like 87 through 2001-2, where this rivalry was maybe the best in all of college football, and it was always top 5 teams. Florida State wins that game on Friday. You would have had number 3 Miami against number 4 Florida State. Now Florida State with a loss falls all the way down to number 18.
Yeah, it's still going to be a dogfight, and I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, you're right. And I've been in a few of them to where we're both top players, and we're both top organizations at the time. And it is one of the best atmospheres you can ever be in because it is a literal dogfight.
Yeah. We talked about everything last week. Looking ahead, trap game. You know, Mike Norvell had lost 5 straight on the road, and I felt confident. I was a believer because of the way that they were motivated and played way above their level of competition against both cupcakes. I was wrong. Just your thoughts on what happened in Virginia on Friday.
I think the moment was there, and I think our guys were ready for the moment. I think that there was a little bit of lack of preparation. And Tony White talked about it in his press conference as far as him taking accountability for it and maybe just not doing some things well. But as far as I'm concerned, it was the tempo. Our offense played well. If we would have been able to do some things on defense in order to swing some of that momentum, they would have probably played even better. But our defense got on their heels almost immediately. We looked tired. We looked like we had 2 weeks off. It looked legitimate, more than that, especially with guys not playing full games. So it looks like they got us on our heels early. And with Chandler being with Chandler Morris being a absolute gamer, he made sure they kept us on our heels.
You spot him 14 points. You have the 2 red zone turnovers. I mean, Florida State's going in. Out of all the football I've seen, I can't ever remember a play where a defensive end knocked the ball out, deflected it, and then caught it. It was a sensational play. Saw Chuck just let a ball go. Typically, when you're down 14-0, that's it. You know, call it off. That's ball game. Florida State scored 21 unanswered points and went ahead. So that wasn't it, but you nailed it. The offense, despite those turnovers, the offense did enough in this game to win it. It was the defense that really let them down.
Yeah, and it sucks, especially when it's so blatant you can see it. I really like the resiliency of the defense in some capacity because I think that even though it didn't look great, they still fought. They still were able to get some conversions. They still were able to get off the field in certain critical situations. So they didn't fully give up, and that may have been something that we would have saw last year. So I'm still going to give them a little bit of credit as far as that. But I think if we had better preparation and we were in better shape, that would have been a completely different ball game in Charlestonville.
All right, what do you mean by that? Elaborate a little bit. Better physical shape, mental shape? I mean, obviously this is a conditioned football team.
Yeah, so as far as the condition's concerned, there's a condition as far as running and playing like a regular speed offense, and then it's a completely different ball game when it was Chandler Morris trying to force the ball down your throat without any. So once you get into a certain personnel and they're running the hurry up, no one can get off the field. Right, no one's allowed to be able to substitute. We got a 10-yard penalty because of it. So no one can substitute. They're running high speed tempo, and when that becomes the case, it is very difficult for guys to be able to run Tony White's defense effectively because his defense is based off of schemes, stunts, and as well as being able to disguise where it is the blitz is coming from. We gave up where the blitz was coming from. He checked out of it. He went to the opposite side. It was a beautiful offensive attack by UVA. And they deserve to win, period.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that point. It's number 3 Miami at number 18 Florida State. That'll be Saturday night at 7:30. Now Nole'n Stample is our Florida State analyst. Boy, the back seven, opportunities, but not playing smart football, not playing what you're taught from the moment that you arrive. Earl Little was, I believe, off to an All-American start. There were several examples of him being in position, making contact, but not wrapping up.
Yeah, which sucks to see in real time watching that game because there's really nothing you can do about it. But at the end of the day, there is so much silver lining in this game. And my biggest take from that is we did not see the defense that we are capable of. We didn't see Tony White's defense out there. We saw a defense that got handed a card and was forced down their throat over and over again. We could not adjust. We couldn't do some of the things that Tony White coaches just because, again, the tempo was such a big deal. So I think that that's one thing, as well as Earl Little knows to wrap up. He knows that. So that's something that could be fixed as well. He made the right keys. He played aggressive. He did a lot of good things. So with that being the case, that wasn't a straight up ball game that our defense just didn't win. There was a lot of variables there that kind of came to that conclusion.
Miami's scary. They have a very good offensive line. I've heard people say that it's the best offensive line in college football. They have two really powerful backs, and now the blueprint is there. You can run right at Florida State. You were those last two drives by Virginia, Nile. 12 plays, 74 yards, 16 plays, 75 yards. I mean, and they ate a ton of clock. Miami knows what it has to do in order to win this game. How can Tony White and Florida State's interior defensive line stop this?
So Mario Cristobal, he's known for wanting to run the clock. We're not going to see much tempo from Miami. They are going to be more of a 60-50 play game, whereas last week we saw 75 to 80 plays. It was a ton of plays. So we're not going to see that. He's going to try to drain the clock. So with that being the case, we are going to see the best representation of what we can do on a high level outside of Alabama. So I think we do have a ton of opportunity to be able to stop this football team. I think that their offensive line they're big. I wouldn't say they're the fastest or the most mobile. So I think with our guys being able to stunt, blitz, and do a lot of things that are going to make the offensive linemen move out of their spot is going to be huge. And I know Tony White's cooking it up. So I think that there's a ton of opportunity there. Again, it is really hard to be so critical when we're going into Miami when I do not think last week was a good representation of Florida State's defense.
You pointed this out. I mean, Chandler Morris was so effective not only throwing the football, he did turn the ball over. He threw either 2 or 3 interceptions, but he was very good with his feet. He had 3 rushing touchdowns. That may be the difference between him and Beck. Beck is so effective. He's among he's among college football leaders. He completes 72% of his passes. I mean, that is incredible, and he has weapons. But he's not a guy that you would expect to be able to run the football the way that Morris did last Friday night.
Yeah, no, and that's one thing that we shouldn't have to worry about as much, even though he can get out of the pocket, he can be mobile. That's not his game. So I think as long as we're disciplined, we're going to have to probably get out of zone a little bit. We'll see what that looks like because that seems like pretty much all we've been running. But I think if we can get disruption in the backfield and we can get some blitzes to get home and we can get some guys to be able to run some stunts, our guys do run stunts very well when they're fresh. So if we can get fresh bodies to run good stunts on this bigger offensive line, I think we can move and disrupt Carson in order for him to be able to make some mistakes and not be as effective in the pass.
Right. To me, the major difference between big-time college football and the NFL is in the NFL, they don't listen to the fans. They don't listen to the media. They're pros. They know how to turn the page. In college, you spend all week, you got your classmates telling you you're going to win, you're going to win, you're going to win. Sure, Florida State heard that last week of Virginia. That's going on right now in Coral Gables. How much does this play into it that all the experts are going to pick Miami? The fans down there are telling them they're going to go into Tallahassee and win. For the record, I'm going to pick Miami to win this game. What does that do for the mentality of these Florida State players?
I don't think it does much other than feed into them wanting to get after it. I think last week Thomas Castellanos made a quote saying that we needed it. We were smelling ourselves a little bit too much. I think we needed to get humbled, maybe him included. I don't know, but I think we're the mentality that has to get done let's throw all the rankings, let's throw all of the records away, because this is obviously FSU Miami. These are what a lot of these players have grown up seeing. Deuce Robinson just talked about it as far as this being something that he's seen as a child. These players are coming in here outside of what's actually the implications of this game and more or less wanting to dominate.
Yeah. The numbers are scary. I mean, both these offenses are so prolific, and again, you have to take into consideration, who they've played. Obviously, Miami's played Notre Dame. They've played Florida. Also, the bye here. So that health-wise, Miami, you would at least figure, is going to be in much better shape than Florida State is. They got the extra day because of Friday night, but still the Canes have had an extra week.
Yeah, they have. So let's talk about as far as the home field advantage. That's one thing that I think is interesting. So when you have someone like Carson Beck, who has a ton of experience in big games, he is no shy to big games. But Carson Beck is about to come into Doak Campbell Stadium. He is from Jacksonville. So him coming into Doak Campbell Stadium, we are going to be absolutely roaring with a team that he's not really accustomed to. He's starting to build over the last 4 games, which is fine, but this is a new team. This is a new offensive line. This is a lot of new things for him. Will we see them be able to pull together and have that camaraderie over the last 6 months, whenever it was that he got transferred in? It is a completely different ball game playing in Coral Gables than coming to Doak Campbell Stadium on a rivalry game like we are going to see on Saturday.
Florida State's won 3 out of the last 4. Miami got them a year ago. How does Florida State win Saturday night? What do they have to do in order to pull off the upset?
Stop Carson Beck. That is literally the main objective. Their defense is solid, but we'll be able to score on their defense. Our defense is explosive. We have certain weapons that match really well with theirs. I think if we can get Carson Beck off of his spot in order to disrupt him in any sort of form or fashion, I think we play this game. I think we win this game. I'm really confident that, again, when you look at the film and you watch the Alabama game and you saw the amount of movement from our defensive linemen, it was insane. They were stunting, they were moving, they were running little games inside on run plays. Those are all things that I think that this offensive line does not do well with, and I think it's going to create opportunities for big-time momentum shifts, and when that happens, that's how you lose ball games. So let's see what we got, but I think as far as my prediction, I think that we can come out on top on this.
Offensively, a little bit more Danzy, a little bit more Lucas. I mean, 2 explosive guys, not enough touches. I mean, Deuce was on, no doubt about that, but those 2 getting a little bit more involved as well.
Yeah, they're going to get more involved, and I think that they could have, but when you get kind of locked in, and especially with some of the issues that Thomas Castellanos had during that game, I think you kind of go to your go-to guy, which caused a little bit of issues, especially if you're a wide receiver. It's hard to really run your route as hard as you can when it's not looking like you're going to get the ball. That's very difficult. So therefore, guys aren't possibly getting open, and then there was obviously an overthrow on one of those crossing routes that looked really good and was a good opportunity to possibly be a touchdown. But we're going to have to get our guys open. I have no doubt that Gus and Thomas Castellanos are going to come in there and feel confident in order to run that offense effectively and efficiently.
You like their chances.
I do.
Yeah. That's good. I've been wrong lately. I had Florida State beating Virginia. I had Georgia beating Alabama. I lost both those games. So, as a matter of fact, I had Penn State over Oregon. I mean, you could have listened to my picks last week, and you would have made a ton of money going against me. All right, give us the very latest. What's going on with your business, NLS Cleaning?
We are in top-tier shape. We're just continuing to make relationships with business owners and as well as property managers, as well as just regular homeowners. We're making relationships with them. We're keeping their places clean. We keep them on a regular schedule so that their places are always nice. Their gutters are always clean. Their windows are always clean. So we do provide full pressure washing, window cleaning, gutter cleaning services, as well as paver sealing and repair. So please give us a call, 904-708-8802. We would love to help. Also, you can reach out to us at nlscleaning.net. And last but not least, if you guys want good Florida State content, follow my Instagram at Nole'n with Niall. Follow me on YouTube. Just follow what I got going on. I love polls. I love talking about Florida State football, and as well as giving really cool insight.
We got a good text here, Niall, from someone that you're associated with. Is 6461 says, "Gentlemen, Niall's an amazing dude. We have the honor of having him coach with us at JDL.
Nice.
Football. 4th graders are tough, and they've tried his patience, but he's truly making a difference. And for nothing but nothing but his son will certainly be tearing it up Friday nights one day. Keep up the good work. So
Yes, sir.
that is
yes, sir.
the folks over there at JD. So you're having some fun as a coach as well.
Yeah.
You do a lot of hats here, man.
Yeah, a lot of hats,
Yeah.
and it's been really interesting learning kind of how to coach and how to develop players. It's been really, really cool. It's been a great experience.
We're going to be on the road next week. I'll have all the details. Now it's going to be with me, so maybe folks like the 64, 61, and others will come out and join us over at Palm Valley. Let me give you those details a little bit later on. But not always a pleasure.